you a lot.
Water
lately.
is uphill, right?
I said, I'm seeing you a lot lately.
Yeah, yeah.
You might have to do one down by the fire station.
Oh, where are all of those ones?
Yeah. Jason.
No, not me. I have nothing. This time.
I need my resolution. Oh, here they are.
No sleep tonight?
No.
There.
Okay.
Oh, it's time to go?
Yep.
Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order. I have a mover and a seconder.
One.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that this meeting be opened at 7:01 PM.
All in favor? Carried. Next, could we have a mover and seconder for the adoption of the agenda? Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that the agenda presented to council and dated the 23rd day of September 2025 be adopted as prepared. All in favor? Carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof?
Oh, yeah, I have Castle Home. Sorry. What's the 9A? And I'll get you the paperwork before I leave. Thanks.
You need one of those little papers.
I know. I'm trying to forward my agenda. So I can see it.
Can we have the adoption of the previous minute? Mover in a second. Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that the minutes of the regular council meeting of September 9th, 2025 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carry. Any presentations in delegation? None for this evening?
If I
Any
may,
questions, period?
so if I may, our engineer Antoine Jay is here for 10A. Could we move him up, not for presentations and delegations, but could we move him to 7C,
Okay, 10.
10A, or sorry, 10B? Can we move that to 7C?
Up to 7
C.
C. Okay. Next we have staff reports. Report from the fire chief, monthly update and fire protection grant update.
Thank you, Your Worship. My fire chief's report is part of the emergency management report, and it covers the period from July 24th to September 11th, 2025. This purpose of this report is to keep the committee and the community apprised of the fire service, and this is to highlight my first 6 months as fire chief. For operations, we currently have 16 operational volunteer firefighters. We responded to 15 calls for service in that time frame, 11 medical, 1 tree on fire, 1 vehicle fire, which actually we were dispatched in error. It was actually a calving call. We had dispatched in error, so I put that down in my report too because we still got dispatched. But when I talked to North Bay PAC, that we actually dispatched in error. So it was actually a calving call. Calvin call. It wasn't our call, so we did not respond to that call. And we had 1 mutual aid call with East Parish for a structure fire. We did receive I received a very nice email from our chief Ahmet, and he praised how well we work together between the 2 communities. I reinforced that vision that we have, that we are neighbors, we're community partners together, that we do work well together. And we also did a burning complaint. Had someone call into the station saying that someone was burning not within the prescribed time area for the burning. So I went and made a visit. I always approach that on the educational aspect. So I educated the homeowner. The homeowner was very apologetic, and the homeowner did put out the fire, and that's it. I went back on my way, back to the station, do some more work. As of September 15th, we've had 67 calls for service. From that date, we have matched our total call volume for last year. So we've already ran a couple of calls already since that date, so we already have exceeded our call volume from last year. For our regular weekly trainings, we always do EMS because that's the bulk of our call volume is medical. So we're always doing EMS training, medical training scenarios with the firefighters. We're always upgrading our medical skills, and we're hoping to get the firefighters medically trained in October. So we're working on that right now. We're just waiting for a definitive date. So we got the wheels in motion to get the firefighters medically trained to the EFR standards in October. I'm just waiting for a firm date. We always check our PPE and our bunker gear. So first thing firefighters do is they walk in, they check their SCBAs, make sure that they're functioning, that there's no worn straps, no tears, no cuts, no rips. They check the batteries, make sure that they're functioning, that they're not low battery. Then they check their bunker gear. There's no rips, tears, seams are good. It still fits properly. We also do tanker shovel exercise. As you know, up here, the bulk of our response for any kind of fire is with tankers. So we're always doing a tanker shoveling exercise, whether it be on the board or watching videos or discussing it and what our plan of attack is if we get responded to certain addresses in the township that may pose a little bit of a challenge for us to get water to them. So we're always discussing how is the best way to attack that fire, best way to provide that service to the community in a very professional manner. And we're always doing, and that leads to the pump operation. So we're doing hose advancements. We're training our newest firefighters that have their diesel license now become pump operators. So we're doing pump training on the Monday nights as well. So you'll see us over at the dam, and that's where we're testing the equipment and we're testing their skills, make sure that they're up to par on the skills. As always, we always make sure the hall is neat and clean. So we always sweep every Monday night. When I'm in there beyond Mondays, I will take a broom and I will sweep it as well. And I'll make sure that the floors are clean, that the apparatus bay is clean. It's a community building, so I want to make sure that it's portrayed in a very professional light. For our special training, we have the NFPA standards attend the Firefighter 1 certification in November with East Ferris. And so we're getting some firefighters up to speed, are ready to take that testing in November. So those firefighters will be certified, hopefully, when they take the Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 in November. Deputy Strud here attended a mock disaster exercise hosted by East Ferris. I'll let him speak more on that. Want to touch on that?
Yes, they did a mock fire at Nipissing Manor. So I went to kind of observe and see how they do things. That was between East Ferris and Callender. The biggest thing that I pulled out of that exercise was how we do accountability. So we're looking at different solutions now, different methods of tracking who is on scene and how and what they're up to. Yeah, and at the same time, we're trying to build those relationships with our neighbors too. So.
Great, thanks. Yeah, really good.
And then we also went and flushed the dry hydrant on Trout Pond, make sure there was operational.
I have a question on that. And so is it operational? Because we were told that it wasn't.
It is, but the way that it's set up is it's going to cause us issues down the road. So there's not a proper screen on it. So at the intake end, you can actually shove your arm into the pipe.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a way that we can build sort of a dam or kind of put something around it so that silt doesn't, or the rocks don't make it up the pipe. There is a screen at the top of the dry hydrant, but
do they have, you can get screens for down in the water though.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. So is that what kind of the game plan is?
Probably that, or like maybe a culvert and we kind of cut some holes in there or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that.
Yep, perfect. That's good to hear that's working.
For my update, I regularly review the fire rating. Now we're getting into cooler weather. the fire rating is not gonna be that much of an issue, because now we're in the cooler weather. So the fire rating is most likely gonna stay where it's at for the remainder of the year unless we get a very dry, hot spell. The other update is that we're always training new crews every Monday night, as I'm very pleased to present the council that for the last, let's see, 8 Mondays, maybe 9 Mondays, we're getting minimum 13 to 14 firefighters out for our trainers, and we have a complement of 16. So if you count, we have 3 junior firefighters, so if you count them, we have 19, but because they're only junior, they still come out every Monday night. So if you add them in the mix, we're getting 16, 17 firefighters out every Monday night for our training
Well,
session.
that's great.
I know you guys, I know council's gonna look at the motion that's being brought forth to you, that I'm recommending that you hire firefighter Adam Fulton and firefighter Spencer Turgot as full rank volunteer firefighters. They've been out for the last 3 or 4 months every Monday night. So they've shown a great deal of initiative and skill, and I am presently pleased that the skills that they have, that they'll be an excellent addition to the community. So I recommend that that council passes that motion to hire those 2 gentlemen as full rank volunteer firefighters. And we have firefighter Trevor Cowdell obtained his DZ. So now we have another driver / pump operator in our ranks. So you're gonna see a lot more different drivers out on the road when you're out and about. You won't see the same people driving anymore. You'll see a couple more different drivers now, because more and more firefighters are getting their DZ.
Right. How many are we up to these?
So we got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of the
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Good job.
For fire prevention, that is always ongoing at every call we go to. So whatever call it is, once we're done dealing with the situation, we will speak to the homeowner or the person at the residence about smoke alarms, CO alarms. Now we're getting to the cooler weather. The big push is now for the area residents to get their furnaces and their wood stoves all checked, because now we're getting cooler weather. That's produced a CO when they're using it. So under the fire code, it has to get inspected yearly. So we're getting a big push now to everybody get out there and get their wood stoves and chimneys inspected, make sure that the wet stoves are wet certified, that they're good to go for the upcoming season. And the other thing is that, Fire Prevention Week is gonna be the first week of October. It's October 5th to the 9th. We're gonna be hosting an open house during that week. We're gonna have I will be there. We'll have a lot of firefighters there. We encourage the public to come out, visit us. The hall will be open. Come on, stop by. We got fire safety literature. We'd be more pleased to talk to you about fire safety, especially your home escape plan, any issue, any questions they may have. Please come and see us. We're wide open to the public. And for our community involvement, we had an open house on July 27th of this year. Service awards were presented to Captain Nick Watson and Lieutenant Zach Mason for 10 years of service. The 5-year service award was presented to Lieutenant Nathan Landry, and previous firefighter Matt Strude was promoted to deputy. So we had mayor and council and some of the public there to witness the presentations, along with the AM committee of Councillor Featherstone and Councillor Clark. So it was really good attended. The firefighters we watched down the hose ring during the agricultural fair on August 16th. And once we're done that, we went and washed the bridges in the town on the 16th and the 17th. So all the bridges were completely washed down. All of them were done by the 17th of August. So as you guys will drive around, you'll see how nice and clean they are. Yeah. And the firefighters had a canteen at the movie night on August 31st at the community rink. Proceeds from the sale of their treats goes towards equipment purchasing, which is part of our asset management. So any money that they are raising, we're looking at purchasing some equipment, which will become property of the municipality, of the township. And that will be logged and categorized accordingly to what we get. So the township can be rest assured that any money that they had raised that night goes towards equipment purchasing for the fire department. And last but not least is the firefighters attended the staff appreciation barbecue hosted by Councillor Featherstone on September the 6th. And that is my report. Well, first report anyway.
Thank you very much for your report. Very good to see the fire department so active. And one thing that I was very, very pleased is to see the firefighters out on the medical calls. You have no idea unless you have to have them call on you. And if you're waiting on the ambulance and you have 2 or 3 firefighters come to your door. And I'm very, very happy to see how many times there's been a medical response in your report. So I think it's a very good report and thank you very much. And are you going to cook pancakes on Saturday?
Unfortunately, no, I won't because I'm working Friday, Sunday this week in Brampton. So unfortunately, by the time I get up here, the breakfast will be done.
Or is Matt cooking?
I don't think you want this.
Good thing it's in the fire department.
Thank you very much for the report.
Yeah, we also have the Bonfield Women's Firefighter Auxiliary has started up again, and they're going to be present Saturday cooking pancakes for
Okay.
everybody. Yep.
There's, the fire chief also has a report on the fire protection grant.
That's B. Yep.
Can I,
Yep.
yeah, can I make comments first? Before we jump into that, can I make comments?
Sure.
Great report. Appreciate the work the firefighters are doing. It's always a great atmosphere when we go into the building, and I appreciate that. It's exciting to see that the auxiliary is starting to get a bit of traction and doing their thing again. Wondering what the structure will be for kind of that annualized, is it annualized? Report back to the efforts that they're going to make. How is that going to be determined? And does it go through the deputy chief and chief to ensure that it aligns with fire department priorities, and then through council to ensure that it aligns with funding priorities? I just want us to all to be rowing in the same direction and being on the same team. So how do we get that structure in place to make sure that there's accountability up and down, so that we're accountable to them and they're accountable to you guys and us? And
Yep. Just before we had our EM meeting, we had the auxiliary club come in and do a presentation to the committee as well as the CAO.
great,
So that way, we've already established that foundation of building blocks
perfect.
on that. There's going to be open lines of communication, that when they are going to do anything, is to go through the deputy and myself, and then then they can do a report to the CAO as well as the EM committee. So that way everybody knows what's going on.
Fantastic. I think it also helps it just be open and transparent, that here's the money raised. The community will know here's why we're raising money and what the goals are, and then we report back to that in a couple of different mechanisms. One, they can now do their own report, but this is also a very public venue that it gets reported through a committee, and then it's minuted, it's on YouTube. I think just the open and transparency will be key to long-term success, that our community rally behind, wanting to make sure that that auxiliary is supported, because they know that it's doing great work for our fire team. So thanks. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, I guess it's me again. So I prepared a report for council to consider. It's for the fire protection grant. As you know, the fire protection grant has doubled now from 10 million to 20 million for the province of Ontario. So then what I have done for my report, my recommendation is to purchase a bunker gear wash extractor and dryer for the Bonfield Fire Department from PPE Solutions. I got 3 quotes from 3 different companies. And the PPE Solutions, yes, they were the lowest tender, and I know usually the lowest tender may not always be the best tender. However, there was a big gap between the highest tender and the lowest tender, and the highest tender, their machines were coming from Sweden. They weren't from North America, whereas PPE is coming from North America. So I know council has a resolution that we're to buy Canadian as much as we possibly can. So the PPE Solutions, I've bought some gear from them, our turnout gear, our helmets. There have been nothing but fantastic with us for service-wise. I know the service person I've been dealing with, I can call him, text him on a minute's notice, and he gets right back to me instantly. No matter what he's doing, he'll answer his call or text me right back. And I've talked with his manager, who does throughout the entire province for PPE Solutions. So This equipment's coming from North America. I couldn't nail down where in North America, but it's coming from North America. So chances are it's most likely coming from the US because there is no Canadian company that actually manufactures these machines. So
But PPE Solutions is based out of Pickering, right?
that's right. Yes. Yeah.
So not so much you can do.
The total cost is estimated at $19,523.83, which includes shipping and installation. So we have set aside, we've budgeted $2,500 for the install. That's for the water and hydro hookup. So that's included in the total cost. As you know, the Ontario government has started phase 2 of the fire protection grant process as part of its plan to protect Ontario and keep communities safe. The Ontario government is increasing this year's fire protection grant funding from 10 million to 20 million. The investment will help municipal fire departments expand cancer prevention initiatives and improve emergency response to lithium-ion battery-related incidents. So the whole premise of the protection grant is that we have to buy cancer reduction initiatives. So this is why I'm going for the wash extractor and dryer. So we can wash our own bunker gear here. As of right now, we have to outsource it to a company in North Bay, which means it has to get bagged and transported via personal vehicle to North Bay, dropped off, cleaned, and then we have to pick it up and bring it back. The fire protection grant is available to municipal fire departments for both new and existing initiatives. Eligible projects include equipment, supplies, and personal protective equipment that enhance municipal cancer prevention initiatives, equipment and supplies for lithium-ion battery incident responses, and you can do minor infrastructure upgrades and modernization, including enhanced broadband and internet connectivity. For the analysis of when I was doing the research is the purchase of the bunker gear, wash extractor, and dryer for the Bonfield Fire Department with the fire protection grant will greatly reduce exposure to cancer-causing agents, carcinogens, to firefighters. Currently, our process to decontaminate the bunker gear is to get it bagged and ship it to a contractor in North Bay. Even though the bunker gear is bagged, it's still off gas, so it still gives off cancer-causing gases inside the personal vehicle. So not only are you, now your family or any other person who gets into your vehicle is exposed to those carcinogens. So I'm looking at it from the liability aspect too, because if that were to occur and they develop cancer, could they come back on the township? The bag is then transported to the personal vehicle in the contract North Bay. And when the bag off gases, the carcinogens are there for weeks. It's just not you open up a window and get fresh air and then the carcinogens are gone. They actually adhere to the upholstery in your vehicle. So they're there for weeks and weeks on end. In preparation for the application, 3 quotes were obtained. The resulting quotes are as follows. So PPE Solutions came in at $15,065.33 plus $1,958.50 HST plus the $2,500 install came to $19,523.83. The other quote I got was Ontario Laundry Systems. They came in at $24,743 plus $3,216.59 for HST plus the $2,500 install equaled $30,459.59. And then the last one was Dalex Jabbar, and they came in at $30,400 plus $3,962 for HST plus $2,500 install came to $38,852. And the last company, they're the ones that's coming from Sweden, the machine. So you can see
that price, I can see why.
Yeah, yeah. So you can see the vast difference between PPE Solutions and the highest bidder. And why I'm recommending that we go with PPE Solutions. They said they're based in Pickering. I've ordered a bunch of equipment off them. Great customer service, reliable, and I've had no issues with their equipment so far. So
You should stand behind it if something happens.
that's they will. Yeah.
Quick question. So I read, and I'm a bit confused. Do we have to apply for this grant and then we'll purchase that equipment?
Yes.
So we're gonna, the motion, I haven't actually read the motion, but to purchase the extractor and dryer for bunker gear for cancer prevention and reduction through the fire protection grant 2025, if successful, really is what that,
Yes.
right. Okay.
Okay.
And then when we apply for the grant, after we purchase the equipment, if there's any monies left over from what we get for the grant, It's to be allocated to SCBA purchases, again, cancer reduction initiatives.
That's great.
Because now I get more and more firefighters, I need more and more SCBA's now.
I found that very interesting when you read about, to clean them and to dry the suits, and you don't think of after they wear them and you take them and hang them up, and the fact that there may be things in there that they could be contaminated from, and that's certainly a good idea to purchase the cleaner to clean them and dry them. I believe that.
Yeah, I estimate that if we purchase this equipment, it's gonna last us 25 years.
That's great.
So it's purchased for the future for next 25 years. So I just gave you a little context. What we do in Brampton is that when we go to a structure fire and we are finished, doing the overhaul and finish our tasks, we bag our gear at the scene. So our outer shell goes one gear, our one bag, our inner shell goes another bag, and then those two bags go into a third bag. And then we get someone else who's on modified duties. They'll pick up the gear in a truck. So that way we don't transport that gear in our fire truck back to the station.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the information and the reports as well. And you too, Matthew. Okay,
We have a motion
so do we have a motion?
to accept his report, and then there'll be two more motions, coming later in the committee.
And they're further on in
Yes.
here? Yeah,
Yes, so right
okay,
now it's just to accept his report.
okay. So next we have,
I'll just read the motion
Yeah.
first, and then
you do the motion,
Yes.
mover and seconder.
moved by Councillor Park, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that that council accepts the fire chief's monthly report as presented.
All in favor, carry. And the next resolution, we'll have another for the,
In the committee meetings later on.
in the committee,
Yes.
okay. Very good. Now, do I say it? You may be excused if you.
Thank you, Your Worship.
I don't want to say you can go away,
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks for coming in, guys.
Have a good night.
Good to see you.
Me too.
Next, we have the report from the deputy clerk on the Canada Post labor dispute.
Okay. I won't read the whole recommendation. I'll just summarize it a bit. So the recommendation will be urging the Canadian Union of Postal Workers and the federal government to return to the negotiation table and call upon CUPW to reconsider the suspension of flyer deliveries. That includes municipal communication. So the background on this, as council is aware, we prepared a very nice newsletter last week to go to Canada Post to have it delivered, to be told, no, you can't. So we prepared this report based on that incident. So the background is the Township of Bonfield relies on newsletters and flyers as a primary method of communication with its residents. These publications provide information about upcoming social events and are also used to convey critical updates, including municipal elections, Emergency Preparedness Week, and Fire Prevention Week. Additionally, newsletters and flyers notify residents of upcoming construction projects or road closures, ensuring that all 1,100 households in the municipality receive essential information. In September of 2025, postal workers represented by the Canadian Union of Postal Workers suspended the delivery of flyers nationwide following the conclusion of an overtime ban. CUPW indicated that this action was intended to pressure Canada Post into resuming stalled contract negotiations. While municipalities like Bonneville can use social media to share information, limited internet access in many rural areas means that not all residents are able to receive updates through these platforms because of limited internet availability. So financially to the township, the estimated cost for a standard mail out to 1,100 households is approximately $200. Alternatively, municipalities have the option of sending individually addressed envelopes. However, this method is more costly with an average expense of $3,000 per mail out when you factor in labels, envelopes, and postage. So in summary, after council carries this motion, if that's their intention, that a copy be sent to AMO, the federal MPs and local MPs, and hopefully that they will reconsider sending out flyers for not just retail, but municipal governments.
Okay, could we have a mover and a seconder?
Can I just ask a question as well? Ask a question?
Sure.
I'll start by saying I wholeheartedly support this and where it's going. My only question would be, as we work in a unionized environment, is this going to anticipate any union backlash from our union?
I would see no, because we're not taking sides. We're just asking them to reconsider or to start negotiations.
Yeah, fair enough. Other than it was the Union Canadian Union of Postal Workers that has actually stopped the flyers as part of their labor disruption. So I wholeheartedly agree with where this is going, so I'm not trying to put a wrench into it. I just want to be cognizant of the fact that I don't want to create negative tensions within our union where it doesn't need to exist. So that was my only comment. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a mover and a second?
Yes. So I'm moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Corbett. Whereas the labor dispute between Canada Post and the Canadian Union of Postal Workers remains unresolved despite months of negotiations. And whereas CUPW has suspended the delivery of flyers nationwide in an effort to bring Canada Post back to the bargaining table. And whereas this suspension significantly impacts businesses, nonprofit organizations, and municipal governments, limiting their ability to communicate essential information. And whereas many rural municipalities, including the Township of Bonneville, have limited internet connectivity and rely heavily on Canada Post for the distribution of newsletters and other important communications to residents. Now therefore be it resolved that Council of the Township of Bonneville urges the Canadian Union of Postal Workers and the federal government to promptly return to the negotiating table and calls upon CUPW to reconsider the suspension of flyer deliveries, which includes municipal communications, to ensure the continued dissemination of critical community information, and that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Right Honourable Mark Carney, Nipissing Temiskaming MPP Pauline Rochfort, Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli, Canada Post, CUPW President, Phenom, and AMO.
All in favor? Carried. Next we have adoption of committee minutes.
Vote.
No.
Oh,
See.
we're moving. Antwer's getting up too. Okay.
It's under 10B. Your worship, the presentation will be on the RFP. And
So it's 10B,
Thank you.
Mayor Paquette, it's 10B on the agenda.
Okay. It's ended.
Yeah.
10B.
Yeah.
Thanks for making this really easy to read.
Uh,
You gotta be an engineer, apparently.
bigger,
No, I don't mean the size, I meant engineering
What
drawings
are
are,
we
yeah.
looking at a train station
It's
here?
funny, I was using we have a.
It's
printer
upside
that's-
down.
It's not that
That's a
easy.
larger size, easier to, and it's funny because I was printing our permit for the Conservation Authority. And I didn't change my printer, so when I went to my printer, I said like,
Oh, is it?
I come in, so yeah, so I got some very big permits.
You really like
It's
those
gonna,
ones.
it's gonna be expensive with the envelopes. So, good evening, Madam Mayor, Member of Council. So there's a few reports tonight. And maybe we can start with, we circulated the drawing. The drawing that you have in front of you is a little bit, it's got a little twist to it. It looks like a very strange bridge. Essentially, the concept of it is that you have on the left side the existing and on the right side the proposed. So it gives you a little better vision of the project and how much difference in footprint that it will be taking. So from the upper image, you've got the trunk road, and then you can see to the left the existing bridge that's a little smaller, that does not go as far. That's the concrete section. There's a line that cuts the center of the existing bridge called CL for center line. And then when you look towards the left a little bit, you see 1, 2, 3 different steel panels. Those are going to be the 3 sections of the new bridge. And then just directly below gives you a bit more of a cross section, as if you would be cutting a cake, going through all the icing. In this case, you see the concrete bridge, and I think we talked about the opening that will be much bigger, so much more capacity in that sense. And then when you look at the image to the right on the middle section, you can see that the idea would be to keep some of the existing concrete abutment where we can keep that at the bottom space, kind of about half a meter from the top of the footings. And then that will be basically containing the riprapping. And then the riprapping will come back towards the area where we have the new abutments being put down. And that's why we would essentially call this, basically there's no in-water works. So that's what we're going to be pushing as we have a check going to the conservation and a permit's going out as well. And we'll be able to describe that in the permit. So the permit is just ready to go now. It's going to go with this drawing. On the cross-sectional width of the, so if you're driving onto the bridge, the little section to the bottom left is the existing. So you see the dimensioning of the existing. There's a bit of a concrete curve, so the dimension is restricted on the bottom dimension. I forget what I say, 555. That's in meters. Yeah, it is small to read on this paper, but again, larger image. I'll leave this one behind. And as we move on to the new bridge, you can see that we'll have a full 2 lanes with the guide rail system being attached towards the outside and then coming back into it. So this gives you a good, understanding of the before and after impact. And then on the upper to the right, you've got a little bit of the existing, the way the road comes in, and there's a bit of a sag, a bit of a dip. And then we'll be kind of working within that alignment as well. So that's to give you just a little bit of an update, which is a bit of a hint that we're getting closer from construction. When you see that kind of drawing, the next step will be to build it. In order to do that, there's a few reports that we have. So under the first report that we have under your item 10BI, which is basically the report on the granulars. So what we did is we went out, submitted invitational bids for the purchase of the aggregate that we need for the bridge itself. There's different components in that. We got granular A, B, we got riprap, different types of materials into it. And then we got 4 quotes received as follows: Pioneer Construction, 31, 6, 24, and 16. HST is included in that number, and then Avenues excavating for the 32,967 and 75 cents. And then we have Degani aggregate for 27,762 and 34. And Miller Paving Limited North Bay came in at $32.58.89. In this case, we check for error omissions, there's none. The recommendation is to award to the lowest bidder. A little side note also is that we were thinking of the distance to circle back. So in their case, they're located not extremely far from the site. So that's another advantage. So when we're talking about equipment rental rates, we're not just sitting and idling and waiting for trucks to show. So it's a recommendation that's got the advantage of a good price and also relative proximity to the site. Now, I don't know if you want me to go through and read all the reports or go question by reports, and then we'll come back and answer questions. Perfect. That's good.
Go ahead, you're the one shaking your head.
So the second component of the job is to actually do the digging. So in order to get out there and start construction, we looked at a request for quotes for certain types of equipment. We needed a variety of sizes of equipment to be able to do the job. This does not include the crane services. That was going to be separate. So this is more of a, so what we received 3 quotes. At that time, Johnson Construction was $44,702 and 80 cents. And maybe if I should add is that there was an error in emission. That's why I'm not reading the numbers red, but the numbers corrected. So the numbers corrected are just, to keep more room on my page. Those are the corrected numbers. Just a slight error in emission. So the number for Johnson Construction, $44,702 and 80 cents. Taxes was in. Receive a quote from Clearline Site Solutions as well, $49,460 and 10 cents, and then Degani Aggregate as well for $48,273 and 58 cents. There's a lot at play. There's timelines. This is a project that's times of the essence, and the window that we have is very tight. So by receiving those quotes, reached out to both of the lowest contractors and asked them, for firm commitment. Given some circumstances with other obligations and so forth, the second bidder was able to commit to the exact dates that we had. So with this came my recommendation to award to Degani Aggregate, simply based on the fact that it is a competitive rate. Relatively speaking, we look at the rates, there's not a big difference. And also the fact that in this case, we want to be 100% sure that we're digging when the float arrives. We want to be ready for it. And also not to forget that the window for paving is closing in slightly. So that's the reason for that, and that's the basis for that recommendation. Also, indirectly, it's nice to have the same contractor supplying aggregate and equipment. The third report that we have refers to the costing of asphalt. In this case, there's mainly 2 contractors that we were dealing with, Pioneer Construction and Miller Paving. They both provided a price for the same quantities of material. And then you can see Pioneer at $37,198.86, and then Miller Paving North Bay came in at $49.50 and no cents, 00. So with this, the recommendation is to award to the lowest bidder. It's a bit of a fine line. There's going to be a recommendation and an award to kind of clarify when we are in construction. There may be certain limits. In this case, we want it to be safe, so you do kind of break the road with equipment when you get to a certain distance. So to be safe, we assume that the distance was going to be further back a little bit. So it is possible that once we do the construction and we evaluate the condition of the pavement, I may be able to reduce it slightly. So if the tonnage might be reduced, essentially, so the cost that you have is definitively, I would call it like an upset limit. But I would say that if one thing, it might be a little under that number when finished. Also, that number includes 2 layers of asphalt on the bridge deck. I can clarify the reason behind later, but yeah. So that's the 3 recommendations for the award for the 3 components that we had identified in the previous report last time I was here. In addition to this, I have a bit of a report, which is generally speaking, just to provide further information. So with the recommendation that the trunk road report be received for information, and that the municipal engineer be authorized to retain identified services to complete the construction project within the project scope. What I'm trying to say with this, and we had the discussion with your CAO, is that there's some components within that are really part of the project management. So I'm kind of identifying what their impact are in the analysis. So for instance, we have Centennial Contracting, we have a number, we have a quote that we received from them. That's kind of a sole sourcing. There's not too many people that install guide rails. So we have a number that was $32,956.50 under sole sourcing. And that number does not include the end treatments for the energy and attenuation. But if we were to do that, the leaving end treatment would be added for $23,200. There is a little bit of contingency on our overall budget, so that we could tap into those contingencies. We can revisit also. You know, I think for that one, the guide rail component, the $32,000, $33,000 almost, that's required. And the drawing shows it, and you can see that there's guide rails on the deck. If you don't have guide rails, you have to drive really in straight line, make sure you don't fall off. And then there's the two extension of the guide rails outside of the bridge deck. But other than that, there's variances. We might decide that only the incoming lane side would be treated, which is substandard. When we do an OSIM inspection report, it's always going to get flagged. There's other ways of saying that maybe we install like a fishtail, which is substandard under the OSIM inspection, but it could be also reduced risk with perhaps consideration of reducing speed. So there's going to be a bit more, I think, as we tag along the construction, and then we move forward. Obviously, the guide rail is the last thing to go in, so that will give us a bit of room to know what's the best recommendation given the budget.
Because I think on a 60-kilometer-an-hour road, which that is now, because we reduced it, the fishtails they're fine.
I have many of those, like I say.
Yeah, I mean, just it's hard to spend $23,000 for an energy absorber where we don't need it.
Yeah, and that's the lesser of there's one that's more expensive, that's a bit better. So the one that I showed is even the one that's less expensive.
Right.
Which is not as good as another thing that I don't personally really truly like about them is that once you own it, you gotta maintain it. And if the snowplow hits it, you got a new driver, all of a sudden, then you double hit.
Yeah.
What's the cost difference between a fishtail and the,
So the fishtail is like, I'll call it $250.
okay.
Okay. The leaving end treatment that we're talking about is $5,800 per unit, and the next one that's a little better, higher quality, which means I'm not sure what the driver would say after hitting it. Like, was there really a difference? But it's $9,800 per. So you're talking 40,000.
Fishtail it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, because it's a 60-kilometer-an-hour road, we can get away, like, they're accepted.
Yeah, that's great.
Got a lot of, priorities and obligations. So that's, but they're identified. So the next 3 under the analysis that we have is the crane services. I've been debating, but I do feel more comfortable including the crane services. We did a rough numbering, and we're assuming that we probably will be in the order of about $8,000. for the full day. And this will be needed because once the float comes in, the concrete abutment will be unloaded and placed. We have to make sure everything is on grade and things go smoothly. Once that's done, then the three panel steel sections will be placed. And then we can say goodbye to the crane. So that's the concept. In between, however, we have to remember not to forget to put the riprap under the steel deck. That could be a problem. So there's a few components to be part of that, and that's why we need the crane for a full day. There's also engineering services. The next two paragraphs fall under engineering. We have a component for the engineering budget. That's not all myself. It's sub-parties and others. So there's under Northern Bridge, we're looking at up to 4 days or so to get their guidance as well, because we want to know what bolt to install and at what torque. And there's quite a lot of information that comes along with it. So to assemble all this and be 100%, we will need their attendance and services to install the bridge according to their specification. There's also Anglo Corporation, which is basically doing the geotechnical. I was trying to put a budget dollar value on it, but the way I see it, it could be a half day, could be up to maybe 2 days. Because we're not in water, I don't expect there's going to be a lot of unknowns, but it would be good to get some sort of a compaction sign-off testing. And they did already do the geotechnical report, so also making sure that they're satisfied with the work methodology that we're doing. So that gives you essentially some of those. There's very small items in there, like I may have to buy some lumber, may have to buy. So there's little things that we need to do. For instance, on the drawings, when you look at it closer, we're going to build a plate to go under the deck. So when we demo the bridge, like little pieces will fall in. So there's little components that are, like I say, smaller items that we're not going to name. But so with the overall, looking at all the what we have in place, we are still waiting for a price potentially to do a saw cutting. So if I do saw cutting, there may be some lesser hours needed on the whole ram itself. So I might reduce some of the equipment. I'd like to do saw cutting, but they have all the information. They have the drawings. I'm hopefully sometimes next week we'll get a number. So that's another service that if I know that within the budget scope we're able to retain them, I think it would be beneficial. It's nice to have a nice cut on concrete that is a smooth line. A breaker can break, but not in a straight line. So those are little components. So that's why I'm saying there will be minor little components to the project. So that kind of, I believe, concludes the reports.
Timeline?
And the timelines. The timelines was under an email, was it?
Yeah.
But I kind of think it's in my head, so I can talk about it. So the timelines that we have, so essentially, if the saw cutting kicks in, I will probably advance the construction the midweek of the October 13th. I would confirm that with them. So in advance, like preparing, closing the road, doing the saw cutting. The following week is the full demo, removal, and at one point, the bridge would arrive. So once the bridge arrives, the crane comes in. Later into the week, that's when we would have everything excavated and prepped with the crane. Later on the second week, which is the week of October 20th, we would put things in place. And then the following week, as promised before Halloween, we construct, put everything in place. And October 31st, we don't have to be on site. Paving, however, is likely to follow after the 31st, but if everything goes well and the weather is relatively cooperating, then it's possible that paving would be late October, although I anticipate that it would be the first few days of November.
And
The bridge will be functional until like they can use it even though there's no pavement on it?
We literally could use it. It could be accessible. It could be something that we can manage that. I think we can have more of an update as we get closer to the end to confirm the timing. I would really like to have it paved. Sometimes it's tricky to open to traffic and reclose,
Right.
but it's also, yes, you can drive on a steel deck, bridge. It can definitively be opened.
So a 2-week closure then is what you're looking at from the 13th?
So
27th?
they were the 2 weeks, October 20th to the end of the month, as was 2 weeks. I'm stealing a bit more time
And
into moving with
the
the saw
beginning,
cutting a
right.
bit prior to that.
October 13th.
So I would say that at the end of the day, I would say that you're under 3 weeks, but you're over 2.
Okay. And is that a complete shutdown of the roads?
Yes.
Okay.
We can build a ramp and post the speed higher up and invite people to.
It's
know.
a hazard style.
It might be a 90. I mean, boost it up to 90.
Spend the money on the entry.
So we want to give lots of notice to people.
Yeah, well,
or,
and to the point of our previous motion, which is giving notice became a little bit more difficult with Canada Post doing what they're doing.
Yes.
It might be worth, and we have the time to invest in just getting some printed signs to actually post on site to
Yes.
like ahead of time, so
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
drivers that typically commute on that road
Yeah.
will see the signs. They'll know that the bridge will be closed from such and such a date until such and such a date, and then obviously if it then they can prepare their life and not on a Monday morning figure out that they gonna be late for work because.
Yeah.
But it probably does make more sense to keep it closed.
Yeah.
Wait till we pave it.
Yeah. Is there anything that could delay, like would weather be a factor? What are factors that could delay the?
Well, there's a week of summer coming, late fall, so I'm
Okay.
expecting that.
Excellent. Yeah, all right, well, let's
When
arrange
we're
that.
digging. I mean, so essentially, there's a reduction in risks because we've done the borehole investigation and we know exactly the section that we're cutting. I keep referring to my drawing, but the section that we're cutting, like we already know how deep we're gonna go. We know what we're expecting to find, and then we know we can backfill. So as far as if you were digging and then you're under the water table and all of a sudden everything turns to muck and clay and soft, that would be a surprise that would then really delay the construction. In this case, we're above water level. And I think for that, that's why I would say that the risk is really minimal. And it would have to be like, torrential rain, nonstop. Again, we got most of the workers in equipment. I might be stuck outside, so.
Are you there for the duration?
In this particular case, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, I would be acting as the, on behalf of the municipality, but I'll be acting as what we call the contractor, and then we have all the sub-elements.
Okay.
So in your report, it says on the 20th, the materials will be brought in. So prior to that, there's work to prepare the area, is that correct?
The work prior, the work of October 13th, I will very likely go on site. We'll start putting some survey stakes and some paint, some layout, starting to plan the road closures, starting to bring some signs. If in the event we decide to utilize a contractor to do the saw cutting, I will definitely communicate with your CAO, inform her of the exact timeline. I would prefer saw cutting, but I need to wait for a confirmation that it's feasible. And if it was, I believe it would be somewhere in the middle of the week of the 13th. And then that will be confirmed. But I think you're absolutely right. We can prepare some signage if we'd like. I know we use social media, posting on the website. There may be other communication venues. And so in that sense, yes, there'll be a little bit going on site. but not road closure until we know that we're saw cutting on X day. And then at that time, we're closing.
Any more questions?
It's exciting.
If I can add, I know that there's a driveway and there's a residence not very far. So they will be impacted by the closure, but we're closing on the inside of the bridge. So anybody outside of that bridge zone will be able to obviously use the roads. So we'll make sure that all the signage and everything is
Perfect.
placed so that they're not impacted on a daily basis coming in and out.
Would we send a letter to those residents?
Yeah, I wrote down on here as well. Make sure that we do
Okay.
that.
Perfect. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Right now?
Yes, right now, please.
Or we can do
And-
it.
and
please.
one-
Oh, it's for Antoine. Jeez, Antoine,
I know.
show up, man. The only person we've ever sent away with a check.
For the permit.
I saw, yeah, I was just, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can, we're not doing any of these motions?
We'll go in order.
Okay. Thank you
Easier.
very much, Antoine.
Thank you.
Thanks, Antoine.
Okay, so next we're going into the adoption of committee minutes.
Yes.
Okay, recreation and fitness, no motions.
Nope.
Does anyone have any report or anything? We had a report, I believe, there.
I think we just talked about Halloween, the upcoming parade and how that's gonna go.
But it's not August. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
No, it's not August like the sign says.
Okay, so next we have the corporate services meeting. We have 4 motions.
Yes.
And I guess we need a mover and a seconder for the first motion. Rural Ontario Development Program.
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor McInnes. Whereas the Corporate Services Committee approved and recommends that the Township of Bonfield apply to the Rural Ontario Development Program to hire a consultant to complete an economic development strategy for the Township of Bonfield, and further acknowledge that any cost overruns will be the responsibility of the township. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Carried. Next motion. That's for an RFP, mover and seconder.
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Clark. Whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends that SOFA Communication be awarded the marketing RFP for the township's economic development initiatives for growing Bonfield. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have another Ontario Community Environment Fund.
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Clark. Whereas the Corporate Services Committee approved and recommends that the Township of Bonfield apply to the Ontario Community Environment Fund to replace trees in the community parks. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have Public Works Manager divert the gravel. Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Clark. Whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommends that the Public Works Manager divert the gravel intended for Shields Point Road to smaller roads within the township and be authorized to rent a roller to pack the gravel. Be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Carrie?
I just want to say, sorry, I have just a comment that if anyone wants any details on any of the things that we just moved, if they watched the Corporate Services committee meeting on September 15th, because there's some, good things, all of the grants that we have applied for. The deputy clerk did a study about our trees, which is good. And even the economic development one, where it's just money well spent for the township. Thank you.
And the full reports were there.
Yes.
Next we have, better do this right. Next we have the Emergency Services Committee, 2 motions.
Yes.
A mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Corbett, whereas the Emergency Services Committee approves and recommends that the township purchases bunker gear, washing and drying machines, if successful, through the fire protection grant from the province of Ontario for cancer prevention measures, be it hereby resolved that council accepts this recommendation.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have another Emergency Services motion, mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Clark, whereas the Emergency Services Committee recommends to council to accept the fire chief's proposal to appoint Adam Fulton and Spencer Turcott to the Volunteer Fire Department, be it hereby resolved that council accepts this recommendation.
All in favor? Carry. Next, we have item for discussion.
Thank you.
Won't be long. We need a mover and a seconder for this, and this is the Castle Home. And I would just quickly like to speak to it. CAO Kunkel and I were at the meeting, a very interesting meeting, and I feel that this motion is necessary, and I feel that without going into detail and without saying the wrong thing, because it seems like you could do that very easily, but I would like to strongly support this motion, and I would like to continue. I believe the last meeting I was appointed, if it was required, that I'd like to sit on that committee, and I think this is very important to establish the ownership of Castle Arms. So we need a mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark, whereas Castle Home Board of Management, through its member municipalities, mayors, has provided a detailed backgrounder document with respect to the evolution of Castle Arms and incorporated not-for-profit organization and registered charity, and a request that all municipalities adopt a motion to support specific actions, including that member municipalities form an action committee and that all members share in the cost associated with funding any legal action against the Castle Arms organization to resolve the matters brought forward by the Castle Home Board of Management in the backgrounder document. And whereas the Council for the Corporation of the Township of Bonnfield has received, reviewed, and discussed the information provided by Castle Home Board of Management, now therefore be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Township of Bonnfield hereby moves that the first option should be that the Castle Home and Castle Arms organizations engage and together fund at their cost a third-party unbiased mediator to attempt to resolve the issues brought forward by the Castle Home Board of Management, and further that the results of mediation be shared openly with the general public and Castle Home Board of Management member municipalities with next step recommendations for their consideration, and further that a copy of this motion be shared with Castle Home Board of Management, Castle Arms, and all member municipalities, as well as Nipissing MPP Vic Fideli.
All in favor? Or any questions I should have asked first?
Oh, no,
No.
you
I think I missed a bit. Can Andre read that again? No, I'm good.
All in favor? Carrie? Come back, Jason. Okay, the next one, we need a mover and a seconder with respect to animal ownership.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark, that council with the Township of Bonnfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-36, being a bylaw to regulate responsible animal ownership, and that bylaw 2024-09 be repealed in its entirety as presented and is hereby considered read 3 times and passed this 23rd day of September 2025.
Okay, does anybody want to speak to it?
Wouldn't mind just a quick, actually, if you can hook to it, or you, either one, just quickly,
that?
sorry, I wouldn't mind if either of the clerk or deputy clerk can speak to it, just to give some context for our listeners. I think it'd be important.
Sure. Okay, so we redid the animal control bylaw in 2024, but our focus was on cats and trying to manage the cat population, changing, adding cat in as much as we could. The cats can't run at large, cats can't or should be tagged. And that was kind of our focus. But in doing that, we had actually taken a number of other sections of the bylaw that kind of relate to the livestock. So since that time, we've actually had a few members of the public come in, and they have asked questions about how to get their neighbors' cows to stay off their property. Because it wasn't in the bylaw, there wasn't much we could do. Those property owners have tried to work with their neighbors. It has not been successful, and they keep coming back. So the only way to help them is to put those policies back in our bylaw, which was like a staff error, like it was my error in taking those things out. So we just want to put them back into the bylaw. Essentially, the language hasn't changed drastically. It's just still in there that we, as much as you can't have your dog or your cat running at large, you can't have your pig or your cow running at large either. So, and to manage them on your own property.
I would like to speak to it, and not in any way to offend anybody, but I think if my cows got out and I had to pay $300 for each cow, I think I'd tell the township, you keep that cow.
Not when a cow's worth $5,000.
But no, I just can't support that. I'm sorry.
That will be
Like a farmer could be away on the weekend, his cows could get out. Somebody would report the animals out. And keep in mind, there's many types of livestock
yes.
in our community, different types of animals and that. So I'd like to ask to reconsider this or to defer it. I'm not comfortable with that.
Could we maybe do what we do with others, where we educate first, right? Where we say, and then if it's like a second occurrence, because I think if it's a kind of a repeat thing, because we have done that with other things where
In
we.
trailer and short-term rental, we
Yeah,
have said that there's a 7-day education period.
Yeah.
But we're promoting farming.
Mhm.
We're a farming community, and I find that I know that the cows are not like the cats and dogs. They don't run all over, and the odd time the cows get out. I remember getting in trouble when we were little kids and we were supposed to be looking after things and the cows got out. So I would like to think about this before we change that. That's my opinion. It's here if you would like to pass it, or if you want to think about it. I would like to think further. What do you think?
I think, we're also promoting responsible farming where you should be keeping your animals in. I mean, I agree with education, a couple, like 2 times, it's been go out and educate a couple times, but then if nothing's being resolved, then we have the power to ticket it or fine someone, but, if it's an ongoing thing, I mean, it needs to be dealt with. And I mean, a cow's pretty serious if you're flying down the road and
Oh, absolutely, but there's horses.
sure, a
Even
cow,
I
horse,
think in livestock, everything is
Oh,
in
yeah,
there, isn't there?
there were
It's for
pigs.
everything,
It's
yeah.
for everything,
There
it's
were
not
pigs,
cows, but-
yeah.
Chickens or pigs or,
If I
know.
can speak to the cost, is that okay?
Sure.
You should speak before me, but if I can speak to the cost on it, part of us having this bylaw, and to promote that responsible ownership, in order for the municipality to impound, a livestock, we have to have a farm that will take it. So we have to have somebody come with a truck and a trailer, and bring the animal to their farm, and then they have to house the animal at their farm until the owner comes to get them. So the $300 is really cost recovery. That's how much it's gonna cost us. We still don't have a farm that is willing to, like, we have to make an agreement with someone to be the livestock pound, right? And the $300 will just cover the cost of having the animal in there. So it's not like it's really, like, it's not expensive, well, it is, but the fine is just cost recovery. So hopefully, if a livestock owner, I want to call them pets, but they're not, but if a livestock owner, if a farm has animals and they're repeatedly out and they're eating the neighbors' fields and all of their hay that they have for their animals consistently, then a fine is appropriate or a penalty is appropriate. Our bylaw officer is very kind and very understanding when it comes to sometimes things just happen. So it's not like it'll be a fine every time. He'll take every situation under advisement. But if it's a repeat, and that's what we're finding right now, the property owners that we have coming to us are repeat people where they have tried to work with the owner. But there's just no policy for us to go to the livestock owner and say, can you please keep your cows on your property? We could do line fence, that will be more costly.
I do like the idea of an escalation, and I think we should actually formalize it, so it should be education, formal warning, fine. Like, then you're on your third offense by the time you're even fined. Like, if the first one is education based and it's documented, education. Second one is official warning with, if it happens, it's a reminder of what that bylaw is and what that next step is, which is a fine. And then if it happens a third time, and maybe it's like within a period of time, like, listen, if it's 15 years apart,
Yes.
like, I mean, gosh, things happen, fences break. But if it's, 3 times in a year, or within a 12-month span, or whatever that time frame is, maybe those are the
Is it 2
escalations.
year?
2 years.
Sure,
yeah.
2 year,
2
yeah.
yeah, you have to fix your gate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? So, like, I think if there's 3 offenses within 2 years,
Yeah.
then obviously that they're getting fined. If it spills over,
I was driving down, I think it was Trout Pond, and there were cows on a porch,
oh,
on someone's porch.
Oh, boy.
hopefully
And
that
all
porch
in
is
the
well
front
built.
yard, yeah,
Yeah.
it was, and very close to the road, right? So there was probably 6 or 7 cows on someone's porch.
What do you
I'm
think
not-
about that? If we
yeah.
put in the bylaw,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a warning or how you set it out.
yeah,
Yeah.
education
Yes,
and warning.
then it's not, to say a farmer left
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
cows
Things
are
happen.
out
yes.
and
Things
For
happen
sure,
with
for
farming.
sure.
There's no doubt about
And the
one each,
Yeah, yeah.
one cow each.
it.
So, and no, it certainly has to be taken care of, because if you hit a cow out there after dark, that, most people know to watch
Sure.
during the
Yeah, yeah.
daytime to watch for the cows or the horses and people riding
Yeah.
with the horses and that. So there, so maybe amend that slightly to go that way.
I think it's another township, they've had cows on the loose for like over a year, right? Where the cows got out and they can't find them and they're still roaming around. And then I
Yeah.
think this is how feral pigs start as well, right? They get out and then you can't get them back in.
That's right. If they get spooked, then they won't,
No.
you
yeah.
can't catch them. You can't get them back in the farm. So, okay, so can we defer that?
Mhm.
Okay,
Great.
thanks.
Defer
Yeah,
or,
well, we'll just give time for amendments.
Okay.
We don't have to rush the,
okay.
right?
Okay,
Come back
next we
next
have,
council.
Okay, community members.
did
would
we
like
get
to
all of
finish it.
our,
We'll bring it back next council.
But if we have the wording, does it have to come back? If we just instruct
Yeah.
staff to make those
Yeah.
changes?
We'll
Is
bring
that
it
okay?
back on October 14th.
Okay.
so then, next we have, resolutions to be considered for adoption. Municipality of Tweed,
Yes.
and then, all of the granular materials and that. Do you have the resolutions next?
Yes, that was
Okay.
all the engineers' recommendations are going to
Yeah,
follow after
okay.
this one.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please.
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Clark. Be it resolved that council directs staff to investigate the possibility of working together with the Ontario municipalities, provincial and federal governments, as well as our manufacturing partners, to form a working group to ensure that our waste disposal issues can be resolved quickly, efficiently, and effectively with the use of incineration, more robust recycling programs, and sustainable practices so that our future generations will not suffer from our environmental mismanagement, and to request support from these organizations, as well as letters being sent to all municipalities in Ontario, Premier Ford, and the opposition parties.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have Trunk Road Bridge replacement, some motions. Movers and seconders of the first motion.
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor McInnes, that RFQ BON 2025 granular materials for the Trunk Road Bridge project in the amount of $27,762.34, including HST, be awarded to Degagné Aggregates for the Trunk Road Bridge project.
All in favor? Carried. Next motion, the equipment rental. Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that RFQ BON 2025 equipment for the Trunk Road Bridge project in the amount of $48,273.58, including HST, be awarded to Degagné Aggregates for the Trunk Road Bridge project.
All in favor? Carried. Paving, the next resolution, mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Clark, that RFQ BON 2025 paving for the Trunk Road Bridge project in the amount of $37,198.86 plus HST be awarded to Pioneer Construction, Inc. for the Trunk Road Bridge project.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have Trunk Road reconstruction, construction information, a mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that the Trunk Road Bridge report be received for information and that the municipal engineer be authorized to retain identified services to complete the construction project within the project's scope.
All in favor? Carried. And next, can we receive the correspondence? I see in there is library board minutes. That's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor McInnes, that council receives a correspondence circulated with the agenda of September 23rd, 2025.
All in favor?
Well, I just want to, as you pointed out, the library board
Yeah.
minutes, so I just wanted to say that it is with mixed emotion that we accept the resignation of Jeanette Shield, who is just a tremendous librarian and an absolute asset to the township. There is a succession plan in place, and Jeanette will stay on and help with the transition, but we wish her well, and she will be extremely missed.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, just a wonderful person. The library programs that her and Holly and Samantha have put in place is absolutely amazing. You know, our library board is very fortunate to have someone, and she's, you know, left such a foundation so that Holly can, you know, really step in. They've done excellent succession planning there, so our community will, it'll be a seamless transition for our library.
That's good. That's great. Jeanette has always been so good.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Human being.
Okay. You read the motion.
I did, you just
All in
need to
favor?
carry.
Sorry.
Oh. Does anybody want the next one? It's confirmatory bottle.
Oh, sorry. Can we just go back?
No.
So, well, no, because there's the Good Roads call to proposal. I wanted to just mention that I think it might be a good idea if there was a presentation about our response to the emergency by our CAO and our Public Works Manager. What do you think about that?
I saw that too. I didn't know what we could put together and bring, but I thought something from Northern Ontario for sure
Yeah.
to bring, but I wasn't sure, but that's probably something very good.
Yeah, because I mean, the response was amazing. They could do the, you know, a presentation on how they responded, right, you know, to how we now have to submit. And I did read that there were the 2 municipalities from last year's storm that were just granted their recovery money. So,
Yeah, that's a great idea, and probably not a bad idea to extend a partnership idea with Calvin, since
yes,
they were
yes.
also very, like, if it's a joint presentation.
Yes, for sure.
Calvin Township and I are doing a presentation about the storm on October 9th. So we
Ooh,
could.
For
bring-
AMTCO?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
AMTTO.
Yeah, okay. Excellent.
Okay, is that something we're
We can bring
going to note that that's
Mhm.
something we're gonna
yeah,
do?
that'd be great.
I think that would be great
Yeah.
if we could do
Okay.
that.
I think you only have till the end of October, right?
Yeah, yes, so we have to get it in.
Mhm.
Okay,
We can get that done.
Also, should we decide, I know for Roma, the hotels just opened and they book up fast, so we probably should decide if anyone wants to go to Roma or Good Roads now as well, if that's allowed. So I'm interested in both.
I would say I'd be interested, with the caveat that, I think we need to actually put some effort into getting delegations
Mhm.
with some ministers. I think there's some important topics that need to be discussed. I believe the mayor, we've had some conversations about some of the things that we think we can advance, working with the minister, so, I am interested in attending. I guess the short answer is yes, I'm interested in attending, and I would really like to be able to, hopefully you're able to attend, because I think there's some delegations that having conversations, you've done it very successfully in the past, having those conversations with the ministers can bear some fruit.
Yeah, I knew them all.
Yeah.
Sure, I don't know who all would like to go. I haven't went yet, but this will be the last year to go,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have motions then
Yes,
at our
but I
next
can,
meeting?
I can book some rooms,
Yeah.
right away
Okay.
without the motions.
Okay,
So, Counselor McInnes, you had said no to both?
Yes.
Okay. I'll reach out to Counselor Featherstone and then, we can do
Okay.
that this week. Okay.
okay, now 13, confirmatory bylaw.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Clark, that the Council for the Township of Bondfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-35 to confirm the proceedings of council from September 9th, 2025 to September 23rd, 2025 as presented and is considered read 3 times and passed this 23rd day of September, 2025.
All in favor? Carrie? Next, we have the adjournment. Over in a second.
Heck yeah.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Clark, that this meeting be adjourned at
8:31. 8:32, it just changed.
All in favor? Carried. Oh. We'll close this meeting, this very long meeting this evening, and everybody have a good night. Thank you.
Excellent.